Hey everybody, I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to just jump on and make a video about why I think that joining a nature-based, non-dogmatic, non-denominational, and theogenic church is something that is a worthy endeavor in this day and age. And as you know, we have a church, it's called the Universal Ministry of Transcendence, so I can't really speak to other churches, but I can tell you a little bit about ours. So I want to start off by saying that I understand that for a lot of people that are very reasonable people, the word religion is kind of like a dirty word and something that people tend to want to stay far away from. And that makes sense. There has been a lot of destruction and divisiveness caused by religion, wars and discrimination and lies and brainwashing and cult-like behaviors. So I get that religion isn't something people are like super, not everybody's super stoked on it these days, and it makes sense. But I want to tell you that spirituality and religion are they're kind of like, it's semantics really, and what's going to work in your favor based on the US Constitution and the way that things are going for the psychedelic movement is that in this country, our very First Amendment is a freedom to religion. So that means that anything that you believe when it comes to like the nature of the universe, your spirituality, God, your own personal religion, they cannot outlaw that. Your connection with nature, they cannot outlaw that. And part of religion is a sacrament. So a sacrament is a tool that someone would ingest normally in order to achieve like an ecstatic state or have a religious experience. So as we know, like in the Catholic Church, for example, they take the Eucharist and wine. They're kind of like symbolic sacraments. Well, in a nature-based and theogenic church, we take things like mushrooms, sacred mushrooms, and other plant, animal, and fungal medicines that help us connect with our spiritual selves, like the collective oneness or an ecstatic state that helps us to understand our real true nature. And because we're not harming or hurting anyone, this is our sacrament, and it's 100% legal, protected by the First Amendment of the United States Constitution. So right now, to take a psychedelic recreationally in this country is illegal in most places and decriminalized in some places. But the right to consume a sacrament is your very First Amendment of the Constitution as a U.S. citizen. So it's a great reason just right there to join an entheogenic church, even if you don't partake, but if you believe that we should, in fact, continue to have this right of freedom to religion, officially being a member of a group that, claim and without dogma and without denomination, meaning that any religious person or non-religious person could join the Universal Ministry of Transcendence or other nature-based and theogenic religion, just based on the fact that they are consuming a sacrament that is allowing them to reach like an ecstatic state or a religious experience. So that is basically what everyone in our church agrees upon, despite whether they are atheist, agnostic, Christian, some other religion that they've made up themselves, or any religion at all is accepted as long as they're not hurting anybody. And we just basically agree that we take mushrooms in a sacramental way. So you're exercising your right, your constitutional right, and you are protected by that right to consume that sacrament. Also, if you read the web page that kind of outlines like what brings us together in this church, it's an agreement that says that we are not okay with the current status quo of large corporations and corporate government entities dividing us from nature itself, from Mother Nature, and that we have an intrinsic right as human beings, as part of nature, to commune with nature. And something like psychedelic mushrooms, Amanita muscaria mushrooms, and other entheogens that come from nature are part of nature, and they are some of the last real sacred tools that we can utilize, whether or not we have success with meditation, whether or not we, have any other thing holding us back. That is a tool that is there for us when we're ready to take responsibility for ourselves and to remember who we really are, like part of nature, part of this earth, in our oneness with all of the creatures on this earth, all of the trees and the rocks, and how we are truly a part of it. These tools can help us remember that about ourselves. And it is a huge blessing that we have this constitutional right written into the Constitution of our country. So there's one reason. Another reason is that when you join an entheogenic church, you are instantly going to be a part of a larger group that can be very supportive. And a lot of people that are taking entheogens in a sacred way, not just in like a recreational way to, I guess the difference really, and I don't have a problem with people taking mushrooms in a recreational way, but I think that intention is a big part of, taking these sacred medicines. And when we have an intention to better ourselves, to progress ourselves, to grow and to understand ourselves and others better, to enhance and better our relationships with ourselves and our families and our communities, and to just like rise up. There's so much trouble in the world. This is something that we can do not only for ourselves, but for everyone when we take these sacred plant, fungal, and animal medicines. We can tap into the collective and raise the vibration together. So this is kind of like what our church advocates for. And so let's see. So when you are joining the church, you're instantly a part of a bigger network, a bigger group. And together we're more powerful, we're stronger, and our message is louder, and we have, power together to uphold this sanctity. There is going to be a movement, and it failed in the 60s, but they're going to make these psychedelic medicines very clinical. It's going to happen because they work so well for anxiety, depression, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. I mean, the list goes on. Even physical ailments. There is so much to be gleaned from these sacred medicines and sacred tools. And it will become very clinical. But what I fear is that the medicines will be primarily available to, and they will be only available in a clinical setting. And that's not really the truth of these medicines. These medicines have their roots in nature, in the outdoors. They have their roots in community. They have their roots in taking them alone. They have their roots in growing them. And there are people that come from lineage that have taken, whether they've come from an ancestral lineage, which I think we all do have a lot of connection with these mushrooms through our ancestors. Like, it's undeniable that our brains have evolved with the plants and fungi to receive them. But, when we make this purely a clinical thing, that's purely a clinical product that you're going to get, and only the doctors are going to be serving it, and it's going to become synthesized, and it's just not the same. People should have the right to take these medicines on their own, these sacred tools on their own. And let's not even call them medicines, because you don't need to be sick to take these organic technologies. We should have the human right to consume them, and we do if we take them in a sacred way. So let's not forget our rights and our sovereignty in taking these medicines in group, on our own, with shamans that have lots of experience, with trip sitters, with our friends, and to exercise that right is to keep it alive. I think it's really positive to join an entheogenic church, as long as you know that there is not going to be a dogma, there is not going to be a denomination. If that is important, if those aspects are important to you, then like take a look at that. But when you do join an entheogenic church, you are protected by your First Amendment right to consume these sacraments, and you are contributing to the movement to keep these medicines sacred and in the hands of everyone, not just people who have certain corporate interests. Because the point of these medicines right now is that we are tired of these organic technologies. We're tired of taking the pharmaceuticals. We're tired of taking the government cheese. Like, this is something that is sovereign to us and that we've been doing for millennia as human beings, and no government, no pharmaceutical industry or industrial medical complex can take that away from us and tell us that that's not something we can do on our own anymore. So if you do it in a sacred way, you are exercising that right. And I hope I haven't repeated myself too much, but this is a video it's very dear to my heart, and it's something that I've wanted to make for a while. So I hope that clarifies things, and I'm sure that there's points that I'm missing, but I will have to make another one again in the future. Thank you so much for listening, and I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day.